Yo, I am Asmar Wedge, otherwise known. However, today we're going to talk about a lot of misunderstandings in the world and how we have different views about it. From a perspective of a boxer slash plumber, Muslim. This is my life, and I'll share it with you according to your questions or whatever. That's when it's better.
So how long have you been a Muslim or a follower of Islam?
I've been Muslim. I've been practicing Islam since I was about 24 years old, and I am 41 right now. My father was Muslim when I was born. I moved with my mother from Philadelphia to Brunswick, Georgia, at about 7 years old. So when I left with her, all I had was this term called Tawheed, monotheism. And that stayed with me throughout my life from 7 years old to about 14 or 15 when I got back with my father in Philadelphia. And that Tawheed, that monotheism, run me through Christianity, through my street life, wanting to be a drug dealer, ordinary life of a young so-called African American coming up. We all dipped and dabbed in the streets because it was so close to us, because of the time, the way that drugs came through our communities. It was imperative that you be part of it. And if you wasn't part of it, you at least experience it because your family's close relatives. Same way, the truth, the consciousness of God is coming through the same communities. By way of Islam, I know for sure. Islam is in every household now, and people have to accept that, and you learn about it whether you are Muslim or you're not. You're going to learn about it, and so this concept of Tawheed stayed with me through Christianity, and I eventually came back to my father around 14, 15, and started learning about the rest of the parts of Islam: fasting, Ramadan, dressing like a Muslim, being around the Muslims, learning from the Muslims, and eventually at the stage now where I go out into my life and be around non-Muslims for one purpose, is to be a light and let people know what Islam is, and through as I see it. And I guess that's why I'm doing an interview now, is because I have my distinct way of experience of this truth, this consciousness coming into my life through boxing, plumbing, because these are the things I did all my life. So
Yeah, well, I mean, part of your viewpoints is what got me and you involved as well. So, and one of my sticklers, I guess, is that we all should unite under one banner.
Okay.
And I always say Africans, and I know a lot of people dispute that. So from your viewpoint as Asmar, what is your viewpoint on people calling themselves black or either Africans or defining themselves as a color?
Well, that's a deep topic, but coming together and uniting should be, number one, should be based off of our belief. And our belief should be based upon what we love, what's really in our heart, what's going to make us act upon, and what's going to make us speak upon. The things that you love, that you really act and speak upon, will become reality. And I think our belief system should be equal, or at least with the same intent behind it. So therefore, the color of my skin doesn't make who I am. So if you call me a black man, fine, because I am dark-skinned, and I have family, or I have my forefathers are from places of people who made of melanin, in Africa. You know, I have Jamaican in my family, but we know they all originated from Africa. But so did white people, the people we call white anyway. Now, if there's a special type of white person that didn't come from Africa, I don't know them. Maybe, you know, they're not even human. Maybe they're the jinn or some type of other creation. Only God knows. But as far as what I know, only can allow myself to be affected and be called by what I understand. And what I understand is that I am an African American, a black, so-called African American, a black. But when I'm getting to the truth of the matter, I am a monotheist. When you ask me, am I a black man or who am I? If you ask me the question of who am I, in terms of what motivates me to be who I am, my faith or what my belief is. Like I was saying earlier, you know, our faith should be based upon what we act upon. And if you're going to say who I am according to what I act upon being Muslim, a monotheist, and someone who worships the Creator, not the creation. I don't worship anything in creation. So just like my skin color is just a part of my makeup, a part of creation. To call me black or to call me what is of creation, you know, would be okay, but when you call me something, it should be attributed to the thing that I believe in. I believe in the thing that is not created. It's not a color. It's not a skin. It doesn't die, and that's Allah. You know, so when you attribute, I am a servant of Allah. This is what I am. I am a slave of Allah. I am a Muslim. I am one who submits to the will of Allah and gain peace in that understanding. You know, that's what makes me, that's who I am.
So calling you black or African American or African or nigga or Negro or whatever, any of those terms is actually an insult to you then. Because again, people are identifying you by one thing or one aspect versus who you are.
Right. If you call me black, I don't take it as a disrespect because I know where people's mind at, and that's part of being a Muslim or being somebody who's conscious. You're responsible. You're not just offended and taking an offense and fighting everybody that you fight over things that they do and the mistakes that they make. If you got a retarded brother or you got somebody who's mentally disturbed, you have to know how to deal with them. Like a patient, you know, you're not going to sleep with the patient. You're not going to eat with the patient, but you love the patient. You don't show no disrespect to the patient. You be happy with the patient, but you have to watch out for yourself with the patient. You're not going to just be lackadaisical and get sick messing around with the patient. You're gonna be responsible. So, and to answer that question, you know, you have to be responsible and dealing with people and not taking it as disrespect. So, but if you want to talk about it and you want to learn about it and you want to build with me, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. Whether you like it or not, being called black is disrespectful. That's
what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to the truth because even though, like you said, when you're treating a patient, if you have to give them medication and you know it's good for them, sometimes it's bitter. Sometimes it hurts, but you know it's going to heal them. Right. So sometimes you just got to give them the cold hard truth. So that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to the cold hard truth because you see the shootings with the last two brothers who got killed, then the retaliation of the cops in Dallas getting killed. So I mean, right now is a time where we need the truth. We need it.
And the truth is, man, we're all people. This is the things that the Most High, the Creator, created. He created humans, he created jinn, he created angels. And if you don't know these different elements that he created, then we can understandable why you'll be lost. A jinn is made of smokeless fire. He's made of a fire that's so hot that it don't even have smoke, burns smoke. And this jinn, as many of them as humans, is many jinn. There's a jinn with each one of us. Okay, same thing with angels. Angels are made from pure light. Okay, a light that we haven't seen before, we cannot stand. Okay, and this light that makes the jinn, they are a part of Allah. They are servants of Allah, just like humans and just like jinn. And their only job is to do whatever Allah says, and they're pleased with that. That's their only intentions. They don't have no disappointments. They don't have a consciousness and a choice.
Free will, like
we
humans.
do. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Now, the jinn and the humans are a lot of the same ways. They have the free will, the jinn. But the jinn are in another dimension, meaning they're with us, but they're not built like us. You can't see them. And you only can use them for jinn-like stuff, fiery stuff. They're not used for, they're not going to befriend you and you be able to talk to them and use them, because they can see things we can't see. You know, there's a thing called the unseen, and Allah knows the unseen, and all the things that He created in the unseen, they know the unseen. And jinn are one of the things that can share the unseen with the people who are in the physical realm. And jinn, angels can also be, but they have different roles. Angels just not going to do what you want them to do. They do what Allah said, period. Even if it's to come and take your life. If it's come to save you or take your life, they don't have any emotion. The jinn, on the other hand, has their own intent behind things. And their nature is fiery. Their nature is not like human nature or like the angels. So they're coming for negative things. And they work closer with Shaitan. Shaitan is the Satan. He's actually a jinn. He's made from the jinn nature, the fiery nature. And he's in close relation with them, more so than we are. And that's why most people who try to communicate with jinns or try to or do things that jinn like dirtiness, filthiness, being around certain areas and being with certain people, having a certain attitude, the jinn like that. Okay, and you know that it just made me think, as a boxer, you know, you have a very fine line in boxing between being a jinn-like and being a human being, and being civilized, being civilized. And the fine line is that when you're fighting, you can't fight with a misunderstanding, unguided in your consciousness. When you're fighting, you should be relaxed and composed. And the only way the most composed and relaxed people are people who are clear about what they're doing, and they have certainty and clarity about what they're doing. And knowledge brings that certainty and clarity. So when you have knowledge, certainty, and clarity, then you can act with a clear conscience and a clear mind. Well, jinn are the opposite of that. You see what I'm saying? So there's a real fine line between using a jinn. You can't use a jinn to get consciousness. You can't use a jinn to get clarity. You can't use a jinn to fulfill a goal sinfulness or sinless. You know. So we try to stay away from the jinn in this life as far as dealing with them on a help type of tip.
Now as that applies to, I guess, the revolution that's going on, or the so-called revolution that's going on, how would you fix the problems? Or is this like a cycle of what Allah has us going through right now, where even though cops have always been killing us, mistreating us to a certain degree, how do you think that plays out with Allah's plan? Or how do you think we should unite to fix the problem? Or is this just a human problem and we should just be peaceful and in time it'll change? I mean, how do we fix this new thing that we got thrown in our face every day, which is cops killing black men?
I mean, I could write for days about this topic, but to sum it up, we have to first let go of our arrogance, and we have to find love. Meaning, we have to overlook each other's faults we have to love each other without losing we have to love each other without losing our efforts in being the best that we can be, our originality.
So you're saying we shouldn't react with the same tone that's given to us. So if a cop comes, mistreats us, another brother comes, mistreats us, a white man comes, mistreats us, we shouldn't react with the same intent that they're reacting.
Exactly. But we should react. And the way we react is the opposite, like you're saying, the opposite of what they do. Like fire burns, you fight fire with water. So to truly win this match, like boxing, to truly win the boxing match, styles make fights. The boxer got to beat the puncher. You can't take a puncher and beat another puncher unless you cause destruction. You're going to get out of the realms of the rules or the safety of the art of boxing. Boxing is a beautiful art. But when you go out of the rules, you put yourself up for, you take chances and put yourself in harm's way. But you may fulfill that goal, but it's going to be a harder road. So these police officers, to stop all of this, is put them to shame. And the way you put them to shame is you do the opposite of what they do to show them the way, in order to bring a resolution.
But even with that, I mean, I've seen plenty of videos where cops is nice. I mean, the black man or the sister is nice, and the cop still mistreats them. I mean, it's been happening since cops started being cops. I mean, it's been going on the last 100 or so years. So how do we change? I mean, I've seen a lot of docile brothers still get stomped on, still get their butts whooped by cops. So you don't think that we should have Black Lives Matters? You don't think we should unite as a people first and try to fix the problem? Or you still think that we should just be peaceful with them? Because I mean, I see beauty in Black Lives Matter. I don't agree with everything they do or the people that are in charge of it, but it's brought a lot of people together. You know, now everybody's saying we're black, we're proud, you know, we're starting that all over again. But does that take us off the path of what Allah has for us?
But the intentions are based upon your actions and your speech and what you believe in your heart. So when you react to a negative cop or to a whole bunch of negative cops or to what's going on right now, no doubt about it, these cops are irresponsible and they're doing a lot of harm to people, in particular black people, mainly because of this racist society we all are caught up into this black and white thing so much that it's become a reality that white people that are in positions are holding on to those positions and forbidding black people to get in those positions because of racism. That's no doubt about it. That's a part of our society. But the way to counter that, the way to fix that, is we have to show example, keep pushing, the help of Allah, and Allah, if He opens the door, ain't nobody can stop it. But even when He opens the door, if you don't react in a halal or a permissible way, if you don't react in a righteous way, then even though that door is open, you're not going to get to bear the fruits. So to answer that question, basically, what needs to be done is people need to come together and people are coming together. But I think the people that still got this question in their mind, what we need to do, I think they're the ones who need to submit to the fact that racism is dead.
Racism is dead.
There's no more race. It's becoming in a time where, I know in this society anyway, where there's no race. There's no in reality, the answer is not to strengthen a race in order to get peace. The answer is not that black people unite and come together and get stronger to overcome the racism of the white people. That's not the answer. That's dead. That's dumb talk now. That's old stuff. Now is the fact that we need to get our education together and learn about God, learn about God and the oneness of Allah, learn about He's the creator, we all creation, and come together on that. When we come together on that, and that starts spreading, then the race thing will not only die, but people will not be questioning anymore, what do we do? The answer is evident. What do we do is we have to come.
But we're reminded as black people, we're reminded every day that we're black. It ain't even us. Though what some call the oppressor, they remind us that we're black every day.
That's not true. We remind ourselves that we're black more than anybody. I don't know how many times growing up, my nigga. What's up, my nigga? This is part of my language. Yeah. I don't know how many times I just said my nigga, and I love it. This is, you my nigga. How you doing?
Yeah, because it's been turned into a term of endearment.
We use it so much that it's a term of endearment.
Right. But what I'm saying is, like, just today, I go to the grocery store, I get some gas, I come out. White lady at the counter pays me no attention. I give her my money. She doesn't even speak, ain't polite. Hands me my change and slides it to me on the counter. I grab it and I walk out. White person's behind me. Hey, how you doing? Gabbing. How's the day? Da 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 da. And I could see totally there's a difference in how she treated me versus how she treated the white customer. So how do you get past that when daily black people go through a reminder that who they are?
Like I said, knowledge. Knowledge, the intent behind the knowledge, and then clarity and sincerity. When you got clarity of who you are, what you about, sincerity that you're just a human being, and that's just a human being. You have clarity of that. You have knowledge. You're gonna see things in different light. So when somebody do something like that to you, or reacts that way around you, you're going to look at that person as less than you. You're going to look at that person as not really conscious of what's really going on. And then it's the opportunity for you to make a move and teach that person. Okay? Now, Allah handles the rest. We're not in charge of nobody. We're not the ones to make change. We are the ones to initiate a change in ourselves and try to hope for the mercy of Allah. Now, if Allah wants to, He can make everybody the same. He can change everybody's heart just like this. So our main goal is to focus on ourselves and our family and those who we see right around. So this is the test for you. When you see this is the test for your consciousness. This is the test to make you better. So what you do is when you have that knowledge and that clarity and that sincerity and that certainty, then you have faith. And that faith is concrete. So now if that happens to you this time and somebody do something racist, you say, wow, it's not about them hurting me. They're not trying to hurt me. They hurt it's their self. You look at it a whole totally different light. So uniting on this blackness because of the color of our skin is weak. That falls off because now I'm on a whole nother planet. So now if you come to me and say, my brother, I love you because we black, we got to get over that. We got to get on this next level because being black ain't gonna do it. They ain't do nothing for us all this time. To be honest, all they do now, you got some mulatto kids, or you got a bunch of kids or people around you that's white. You can't erase people. You can't kill all the white people. You can't kill your kids because they mix. So we have to come to this consciousness of accepting it and dealing with it and rolling with it, rolling with the change. And the part of doing that is getting knowledge, getting certainty, getting sincere, having sincerity, and making this a sincere faith and part of your faith. And only Islam teaches what I'm telling you. But I don't gotta say Islam. I don't gotta say Muslim. Them Arabic words. But that's not what defines Islam. Islam is not defined by a word or a nationality or whatever. You can say peace in that English. If I speak to you, if a Muslim stop using Arabic for the rest of their life, and you spend time with them, it ain't nothing they can say that's what you're gonna disagree with. If I say Muslim, one who's gained peace from submitting to the will of God. If I say Tawheed, to not associate partners with God, to share God's power with anybody, to not say God is anything that is created, a man, a ghost, a jinn, an angel. He's not a spirit. He's not anything that can be comprehended. God is above his creation. He's not even, he gives us little attributes and beautiful names. He's merciful. He's beautiful. He's kind. He's just. But do we know the limit of this just? Do we know the limit to his kindness? No. He's nothing like anything that we know. God, this concept of God, that we know him, he's our friend and he's ours, is false. This is the worst thing could ever happen to us. And this consciousness is spread all over the world. Now, I just want to say America, but it's bad all over the world. Where people think they know God. You don't know God. You don't know God. God is not anything conceivable. He only gives us attributes and names in his holy books to try to get us on the right page. But we don't know God. So with this concept, then we can go into praying to God. Then we can go into fasting and doing kind things for our parents. Then we can go and respecting each other. Then we can go and be in a community. Now, if we are going to be a community, a dark-skinned community, or people who look like us, because my son is not dark-skinned, but he looks like me. He looks like what we call as a black man. I hate saying the word black man, African American, this and that. I don't know who we are, but we are a people. We are a people. I'm not disassociating myself with people who I am. I am who I am. Okay? Now,
but you're not defined by that label or term.
But I'm not defined by that label. Exactly. I'm not, because that takes me out of.
So basically what you're saying is we all who use these terms are living in a matrix.
Okay.
And you stepped out of the matrix to look at the bigger picture.
Exactly. I'm looking at it from a more standpoint of separating the creator from his creation. So if I call myself anything, I want to make sure that I attribute that to the creation. Because if I say I'm a black man, but I'm not attributing me being as a black man as a human being less than the creator, then I'm putting myself on the level of the creator. So, and it's very easy to do that. Because first of all, we were raised on a consciousness of being like God. When this is false. This is the worst thing we could ever do, because when we put ourselves on the level of God, we have nothing to reach for. We have nothing to help us. We don't really have a help. We don't really have a guide. We don't really have anything that is above us. So therefore, when we fell, because now we don't have God. But that is the just the first part. You know, being a Muslim is just by the mercy of the Creator. That's the merciful part. People who don't know this are lost, and that don't mean they're lost forever, and that don't mean they can't change places with me. I know, and I'm saved under that covenant right now. The fact that I know, and I bear witness. I share it to everybody. I'll die and I'll live for that. I bear witness that there's no one worthy of worship except Allah. I believe that He is the Creator and I'm the creation. And Muhammad, may the peace of us be upon him, came with this information and taught us. And he's an Arab. And the Arabs of today, what are the Arabs of yesterday? God knows best. But the most important thing is that He was the one who gave me this message of my Lord. So YouTube is where you're going to find me trying to build a little small community about what I'm about. And it's just basically boxing, plumbing, and Islam. And because that's where I can express what I know. Otherwise, you know, I think it's a waste of time for me to be sharing my life and struggle, because I would rather share someone else's struggle, because helping someone else is like helping yourself. But as far as what I do know and what I do have to share is the boxing in my life, what I've been doing for years. And it's not the average boxing. I'm not an average boxer. I've redefined boxing to the point where I can be in control, and I'm not in there recklessly hurting myself, and I'm not hurting other people. That's not boxing. Boxing is a true martial art. So you can reach me on YouTube